Hey guys, it's Danny Deals. Thank you for tuning in to Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more because you demand it, you deserve it, and my executive producer extraordinaire, Hurricane Lopez, will beat me severely if I do not give you just a little bit more. So I'm going to bring it to you here today. Um, the NIO stock down on the day, 5.26%. Um, it is April 4th, 2023. It is almost 8 a.m. out here on the Pacific Coast, almost 11 out in NYC. Hope it's a great day wherever you are. Um, okay, EVs generally are being hit today. Xpeng is down 7.5%. Lee is down 2.3%. Lee had pretty strong delivery numbers, but of course, Lee isn't really an EV company. Tesla down 1%. Rivian 1%, Lucid 2.5%, and delivery numbers just hit. Tesla kind of hit the bottom end of the expected range, but there were whispers out there that Tesla was going to have a strong beat and kind of came in more in line. So the market, sort of lukewarm on Tesla, but the Chinese EVs are selling off today. Numbers were a little bit lackluster. NIO, of course, I think sold just about 10,000 cars for the quarter, which was the very low end of their guidance. Uh, I can't even remember if those numbers are correct, but it's right in there. So, why do I still like the NIO stock? This is the Motley Fool's little spiel on their deliveries, and of course, sold off. Well, it was technically in the range. We're still down from the 40,000 it delivered in the prior quarter. So they sold 30,000 electrical vehicles. I meant 10,000. I'm sorry for the month of March, but not 10,000 for the quarter, of course. My mistake. But the year on year was still up 20%, but that's not the growth we were hoping for as investors and we were expecting from NIO. It's weak. Why is it weak? They've had production problems. They didn't sell any ET7s. They're doing a refresh on that. Just the I would argue they tried to grow the product line. I love what they're doing there, and the innovation, but I think you don't need that broad a product line that quickly. I think they were trying to do too much too fast, and they're working on the 3.0 platform before they've perfected or sold the vehicles on the 2.0 platform. So I think there's just too much money and energy going into R&D. I think that would be better spent on the battery technology, the in-house battery technology, rather than just trying to push out more and more models and a hatchback and a wagon and a sedan and an SUV that are all kind of very similar. I'm I like the fact that they're trying to give people choices and have one of the most complete EV lineups in the whole world, and probably the most complete. Um, but within reason, within reason, it's not more is not always better. Sometimes you need focus and you need to listen to the market. And right now, I think they're doing that. They're seeing ET5, and they're you know trying to ramp production and get costs and margins in line. But the key for me with Neo is they are the only EV company that is trying to build an ecosystem, a brand. You could argue, Tesla, of course, has ardent fans and loyal customers, and they make a very good product. Certainly not a Tesla detractor. I think Tesla is a really good company. Um, I am and have been a Tesla investor, and you know, there's no doubt that Tesla paved the way, but NIO is trying to do their own thing in terms of branding, in terms of the ecosystem, in terms of the lifestyle, in terms of the phone. All of these things they're trying to make Neo a lot more than a car company. And you see a lot of these other companies, they're just trying to run with one or two models and increase production, pump the stock price. Neo, I think, is building a foundation for the future. As I said in my last video, I think they're future proofing themselves because I think battery swap is going to be far more important than people realize today. Because right now, the electrical grid, most places can handle charging EVs because there just aren't that many. The market penetration is not there. But particularly in China, the government is being extremely aggressive about the transition to EV. And as more and more of the cars sold and more of the cars in China become EV, the demands on the power grid, particularly in the mid and more far flung cities, are going to exceed the capacity. And China already has a lot of issues with their electrical grid and their dams, their hydroelectric. They're building power plants, I believe, like crazy, but just the economic, they're still, even though with the economic slowdown and COVID and stuff, China is still going to grow. I mean, they're still transitioning from a lot of people from simple like subsistence type lifestyle to a more modern industrial lifestyle. Their industrial revolution, their technological revolution is in full swing. And battery swap makes so much sense on so many levels. Um, just because you can charge the batteries at off-peak times. The batteries are also smart. Their battery swap stations are smart, where they can become part of the power grid. They can slow down charging when there's a lot of demands on the grid. I think they will be able to give power back to the grid on demand. And I think there is a very good chance that the Chinese government will institute battery swap mandates, and other companies will be forced to partner with NIO or build out their own battery swap stations. But even a company like BYD or CATL, that are, very big companies and obviously dwarf NIO, these companies, just to deploy battery swap is not as easy as it sounds. You have to have the standard, then you have to have the engineering, you have to test the stuff, and then you have to deploy it all over China, thousands of units. It's not something where another company is just going to be able to catch up to NIO very very quickly. It's going to be a lot easier to partner with NIO or to buy NIO and to use NIO's standard for part or all of their product line, than it is to actually overtake NIO or compete with NIO on a battery swap basis. And I think it's also very possible the Chinese government could mandate this standard if they wanted to. They could say, look, this is already being subsidized by different levels of the Chinese government. They're already um, have production partnerships with different levels of Chinese state-owned businesses. The Chinese government has committed to buying NIOs for like police cars and their, government officials' cars. So I think in many ways the Chinese government has sort of been supporting NIO all along and kept them from going bankrupt, and wanted this domestic nameplate that is kind of a higher end nameplate. But I think if you also think about where cars are going, everybody's talking about self-driving. Basically, I think even though it hasn't happened yet and it's been slower than people have expected, full self-driving is a foregone conclusion. It's just the engineering and the technology and the sensors and the processors all get better. The AI, the learning from these miles. So Neo's working on this. I know obviously Tesla is very close. They say they've been, selling this for many, many years and they still haven't perfected it. I think Neo has a better approach using the LiDAR and more sensors rather than just these lower resolution cameras that Tesla feels they're going to be able to implement full self driving. But if you combine full self driving with battery swap, so many possibilities open up. And it's not just robotaxi. It's your car could go get a fresh battery in the middle of the night while you're asleep, and you come back to, you get up in the morning, come down to your car, you have a fresh battery, and those batteries can charge whenever it's cheapest, and the government wants them charged, and the company wants them charged. So I think combining those two technologies, the synergy between those two technologies is just going to be, a complete game changer. NIO is building a foundation, not gunning for quick production and quick stock pumps. And that's why I have a lot of confidence in the company. The stock obviously is getting hammered today. I think that's an opportunity. Um, if I had extra resources, it's tax time, so I really don't. But gonna be giving all my funds to old Uncle Sam. But in any case, I think it's a great time to add Neo. I think they're hammering Neo. Uh, that's not. I know all EVs getting hammered today. It's all red if you notice, but also if you just check out the options chain, I mean, you can kind of see like, okay, here's where the options come in at 950, 10, 1050. So market makers love to kill these really popular retail stock options like Neo and SoFi and stocks like that. People buy a lot of weekly call options, which is really kind of not the smartest thing to do because they're very easy for market makers to kill unless there is a bunch of news that comes out. Anyway, I think Neo is in excellent shape. I'm not too worried about that delivery number 31,000. I wish it was higher. But the first quarter slow. January is always slow, and NIO is transitioning production fully over to the 2.0 platform. They're working on sub brands. They're working on in-house battery production. Of course, they're trying to deploy 1,000 battery swap stations this year alone, which is an absolutely monumental goal, I think. But with government partnerships, with partnerships with other companies, they're adding all the time. Um, I think it's certainly plausible that they could do that. And even if they fall a bit short, I think it's still, they're going to have an incredible year. To me, the current models of the cars do not matter nearly as much as the battery swapping, the full self driving, and being able to license the drivetrain and the battery swap technology to other people, and the possibility that the government could mandate a battery swapping capability in certain areas, in certain types of vehicles, and NIO would be the only game in town with a network of battery swap stations advanced and built out enough to actually function anywhere in the near future. So I think NIO future proofing themselves, the only EV company trying to build a complete ecosystem, not just models, lifestyle, products, battery swap, energy products. They are not, Tesla is Tesla. I don't think NIO is the Tesla of anything, but NIO, I think, stands on their own as a really solid company that is presently undervalued. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to that story. I want to thank you for watching Un Poco Mas, the show where we try to give you just a little bit more. My name is Danny Deals for executive producer Hurricane Lopez. I hope you have a great day. By the way, it is 8 a.m. on the Pacific Coast. It's about 11 out in NYC, and NIO stock is trading at $9.29, $9.30, down 50 cents on the day. Hope you guys have a great one. Thanks for watching.